So the thing is, I'm not sure when I start. I think I've started. We have, yeah, okay. I see me on my monitor. There. Hey guys, welcome into a rather wild edition of the Farzy Show. For those that want to know where the Steven Singer studio is today, I am at a good friend of ours, a good friend of our family. I'm actually in my daughter's play date's playroom. Hence the dinos, all right? Hence the Tyrannosaurus Rexes. Behind me, I'm in the playroom. So this is the Steven Singer studio today. Well, welcome into the show. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is a little show we like to call the Farzy Show. Jim Hyden's producing, doing a phenomenal job as per usual. So you guys know I've been moving. We move into the new house today, later today. So I wanted to make sure I touch base with you guys. As I know, I touched base with a lot of the Jacob Media YouTube people yesterday. Was fortunate enough to be on with my man Derek Gunn and Mike Missinelli to talk about Eagles-Giants in the road to Glendale, Arizona that the Eagles are on right now. First, let me just address a couple of things. Right out of the gate. I know a lot of people have talked to me this week, like, Mark, are you a Giants fan? Are you a Giants fan this week? And you know what's funny? When I was a kid, I really liked the Giants. Believe it or not, before I was really into football and didn't know what a division, like before I knew what a division was, I was like, I kind of like this Dave Meggett guy. True story. But yeah, since I stopped believing in, I don't know, the Tooth Fairy, for instance, hopefully I didn't spoil that for anyone. Yeah, I haven't really pulled for the Giants. But I will say, I don't know how I can continue to tell people that no matter who the Eagles were going to face in this round of the playoffs, they were going to win. All right, no team scares me in this second round, with the Eagles' first game, the second round of the playoffs. No team scares me enough to, oh, wow, the Eagles are going to lose this game. However, I was asked for a prediction yesterday while I was on with Mike Missinelli and Derek Gunn, and they said, the prediction, the whole thing. And I said, right now, at this point in the week, I think that the Giants do cover the 7.5, but the Eagles win. I think it's a backdoor cover. I think it's late. The Giants get into this game, eke themselves into this game to the point where the last possession or two for the Eagles are like, all right, they got this. They got this. But I see the Eagles winning this game 30-24. We'll see if tomorrow's guest, Clay Harbor, will sway me in either direction. We'll also get Clay to talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars, a team that he is very close with as well. But the reason I feel that way is because, as far as the Giants go with this Giants-Eagles game, is the fact that, as I've told you guys earlier in the week, the Giants weren't healthy during the 48-22 win that the Eagles posted. And if you're trying to be objective and really trying to break down how this game is going to play out, the Giants were missing two key members of their secondary in that game. Now, did Jalen Hurts go off in that game and throw for 350 yards in that game? No, he didn't. He had 220 yards, something like that in the game. It wasn't wildly impressive. But still, two key members of your defense against this type of offense, you need everybody you can possibly get to help you out and not allow the other team to score 48 points. So that's one reason. Adoree Jackson back, Xavier McKinney is back. And if you remember, Saquon Barkley going into that game had I believe it was a neck injury it was very questionable. I remember talking to Jordan Raanan leading up to that game, the ESPN Giants beat writer, and he said, "Oh yeah, Barkley said he's going to play, but it is questionable. We'll see how he does." And the Giants really didn't use him that much. Matter of fact, I don't even think he got the first carry of the game. And then I looked at it. He actually played in that game. Saquon Barkley played a season-low 31% of the snaps in their first matchup against the Giants, the Eagles-Giants game in Week 14 of this year. So you didn't really see the quintessential Saquon Barkley. Now, whenever I bring up Saquon Barkley, people also say, like, oh, the Giants don't use him enough. If he was playing here in Philly, we'd be banging the drum for Nick Sirianni to be giving him the ball, like we do for Miles Sanders, of course. But the fact of the matter is he had 14 touches against the Minnesota Vikings last week and still put up 109 yards of total offense and still scored 2 touchdowns. So they used him enough where he still got 100-plus game in yards gained and still scored 2 touchdowns. So, yeah, he's still pretty damn good. And then, of course, Week 18, you can't really judge anything from because the Giants didn't have their starters in and the Eagles were just getting Jalen Hurts back. But the number one reason I think that the Eagles are going to win this game is because of Jalen Hurts. I feel that Jalen Hurts is going to give us that MVP caliber Jalen Hurts that we saw throughout the vast majority of the regular season. Listening to Jalen Hurts talk yesterday, seeing that he wasn't on any of the injury reports that were out there, makes me feel a lot better about Jalen Hurts' status. When we talked to Nakobe Dean earlier in the week, the fact that he said even Lane Johnson and Jalen Hurts looked great last week of practice. And remember the reports where the Jalen Hurts wasn't throwing. They were really limiting him in terms of what he was doing a week ago. Well, this week it seems like the restrictions are off. And I don't know if the media didn't see it or not, but apparently, according to Nakobe Dean, Jalen Hurts was throwing in practice last week. So I think that what we get back is the Jalen Hurts that makes us feel like any game the Eagles are playing, they at least have a chance to win. And they will win this game against the Giants. When we got all up in arms about what Micah Parsons said about is it the system or is it Jalen Hurts, my biggest counter argument to that was that Jalen Hurts is the on switch to this system. When he wasn't in there and you saw Gardner Minshew, you saw that there was a drop-off. When he wasn't in there against the Saints, particularly, you saw that drop-off. Coming back against the Giants 2 weeks ago, you saw a guy I thought that was looking to work out some kinks. Listening to him this week, I don't know if he'll be 100%, but I do think he'll be at least 90% going into this game. And I do think you're going to see the guy that is keeping the football. And this might not make a lot of people feel great, but you're going to see him keep the ball on those RPOs. You're going to see Nick Sirianni call those RPOs. You're going to see him take the ball and run for himself. You're going to see occasional handoffs there to Miles Sanders. But there's going to be a number of instances where we're watching this game going, Jalen, okay, fine. Don't run just that much. Okay, fine. But I do, when it's all said and done, I think we're going to look at it and see the guy that played for the vast majority of the season. And that's the MVP version of Jalen Hurts. I look forward to seeing that on Saturday night at 8:15 when they kick off. Just want to say it's going to be a short show today. I just want to say hi to some people in the chat real quick. Kevin, good morning. Murphy Brown, what's going on? Eagles, Cowboys, NFC Championship game. That would be awesome. Maybe one, Sean, let's not get ahead of ourselves one game at a time. I did roll out the scenario. I think I did it on this show too, but how perfect it would be to face the Giants, beat them, beat the Cowboys in the NFC Championship game, and then just, win a Super Bowl. No big deal. But one of the things that is pretty funny about this is the NFC East was supposed to be terrible this year. Terrible. Maybe the Cowboys were going to come away with it again, right? The NFC East has been incredible. The Giants rally late in the season to be able to clinch a playoff spot. They don't do that till week 17 against the Colts. The Cowboys, of course, were close to the Eagles pretty much all season long, so you knew that they were going to be in there. Washington was actually teetering on making the playoffs and then didn't. So the NFC East ended up being a pretty damn competitive division. And now the NFC East could dictate the Super Bowl berth, at least for the NFC. Whether that's the Giants winning a playoff game, the Cowboys winning a playoff game, Cowboys maybe beating San Francisco. They are 3.5-point underdogs there in San Fran. And you look at a team like the Giants who had that. It was a great win over the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, they handled their business. They got Adoree Jackson back in that game. Xavier McKinney played his second game since breaking his fingers. They played a great all-around game against that Vikings team and did not allow Justin Jefferson to go off. But the NFC East has impressed and turned a lot of heads this season, I think, with especially the way the Vikings played most recently. The Giants played against the Vikings most recently, have made people look at Daniel Jones as a different quarterback. So it's going to be at least interesting over the next couple of years here to see the way the NFC East does go. But I do see the Eagles with Jalen Hurts being the best quarterback, at least in the division. See him taking this team to some new heights, which we can all get used to, of course. Something else that came up during the move, which, by the way, just anyone who has to move, I feel like we're not compassionate enough to these people. Like, we've all moved in our lives, and it sucks. It sucks. So that's what I'm going through right now. But during the course of moving out of our now old house, I didn't get a chance to really keep up on social media, keep up on Twitter. So I guess it was 2 nights ago. I get done all the heavy lifting and all that stuff. The movers were gone. There was still a lot of scrambling that I'll tell you guys about another time. That we had to get another storage unit because of all our crap, and it was nuts. But I sat down on the sofa. here at our friend's place, and I just started scrolling on Twitter to try to catch up to see what I might have missed. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, why is Pizza Hut trending? Why? I have not had Pizza Hut. Wow, the last time I had Pizza Hut was Superstorm Sandy, and I was stranded in the middle of the state. Long story short, and me and a buddy of mine who I worked with from Sunday Night Football, who is from this area, Sam, what's up, brother? NBC put us up in a hotel in the middle of PA because we started driving from Pittsburgh to Philly, and we started to see the downed power lines and billboards and stuff. So we just pulled us, this is where we're going to, get our rooms or whatever. And the only restaurant was a Pizza Hut across the street. And my buddy and I, we each got a pizza, we each got a 6-pack, and we each watched Monday Night Football that night. And that was the last time I had Pizza Hut pizza. So I'm like, why is Pizza Hut pizza trending? I watched the press conference with Nick Sirianni, and he gets asked about watching game film or watching the previous round of the playoffs, who they're going to play and all that stuff. And he said he had a craving for stuffed crust Domino's pizza, which takes me back to the 90s, man, to the 90s, when we used to get pizza before like great pizza was readily available. And the big thing was to get done school. I went to Our Lady of Mount Carmel in Doylestown. On a half day, us Catholic school kids we'd bring our street clothes, get changed in the bathroom, and walk into town like the badasses that we were. And you would walk across town to the Pizza Hut in Doylestown, and stuffed crust pizza would just come out, and we would crush that, okay? But that was like when I was 13. For Nick Sirianni now, as a 40-plus-year-old man, to be in the great food city that is Philadelphia, to have places like Angelo's, to have places like Vetri, like stuff like that, and you go stuffed crust pizza from Domino's. If you guys have a guilty pleasure with food, I don't really judge people for what they like. People say ketchup on a hot dog, for instance. I'm like, hey, you do you. I don't really care. It doesn't affect me. But when people do the, I don't know, mainstream, over-marketed franchise stuff, I get it. Because I'll tell you right now, I do have a guilty pleasure when it comes to pizza. And it happens maybe once a year where I will just crave, in all the great food that's around me, I will crave, of all things, a Domino's thin crust pepperoni pizza. Don't know what it is. Don't know why. I think it's because the pepperoni is always crispy. But with all the great pizza I have surrounding me, well, at least used to, now that I'll move to the suburbs. But anyway, that's the one thing I crave. And when Nick Sirianni, and I saw the press conference and saw while everyone was up in arms over it, that's where my mind jumped to. I was like, yeah, I get it. There are chefs, like world-renowned chefs, that have that one guilty pleasure. My buddy Jamie Lynch would tell me about this one chef whose guilty pleasure was the Domino's like buffalo chicken ranch pizza or something like that. The other part about it is when you travel throughout the country, you realize how special it is to be in this area, the Northeast corridor of the United States, especially when it comes to food. Because Nick Sirianni, from his travels, I guess Pizza Hut is just a standby. He says he doesn't get in his house. But apparently he crushed it while trying to figure out who the Eagles were going to play in the playoffs. That's his guilty pleasure. Hit me up in the chat here. Maybe I can get to a few of them if you have a guilty food pleasure, if you will. We'll get to that. Now, the other part of it is that people are talking about this as if it was trash talk, as if it was gamesmanship, with Nick Sirianni is just trying to egg on New Yorkers and Giants fans for saying that he goes with stuffed crust Pizza Hut pizza. I love that everything can be interpreted as gamesmanship. I find that to be hilarious. But that was one of the funny things I had to catch up on. So the world was definitely ahead of me on that one. Something else I wanted to get into in this game is Wink Martindale, if you guys caught this. The defensive coordinator of the New York Giants put it out there yesterday saying that Boston Scott is not a giant killer. Okay. I think anyone who bets is going to be putting an anytime touchdown bet on Boston Scott scoring a touchdown against the Giants. just like he did in the week 18 game against the Giants to cap off the season against Wake Martindale. Boston Scott has 9 touchdowns in 7 career games against the Giants. All right. The opinion of him being a giant killer isn't relevant. The statement of fact that he's a giant killer is relevant. Because Wink Martindale tried to push it aside by saying, a lot of that's before my time, blah, blah, blah. So he's not a giant killer. I'm like, all right, then rain isn't wet. So what are you even saying? But I look forward to seeing what the Eagles do against that defense. And also this, because this came up yesterday as well. The other thing that is interesting about this game, other than Jalen Hurts, is Lane Johnson. You could even say it's a key. Now, throughout the regular season, the Giants were one of the most aggressive teams in the NFL. They were blitzing at an extremely high rate. I think at one point it was at 51% of the time they were blitzing. So that's pretty aggressive. But they weren't getting home. They weren't getting to the quarterback. They were like the Eagles last year, except the Eagles weren't blitzing, but they also weren't getting to the quarterback. But anyway, this year, they're blitzing at an extremely high rate. If you're Wink Martindale, what do you think you're going to do in this game? What's the first thing you're going to do? I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to test the hell out of Lane Johnson. And in doing so, you're going to test Jalen Hurts to see if he's going to take off or try to stay in the pocket and make a play downfield, or if he's going to try to check down or wherever it might be. He's going to attack the right side of the line of scrimmage. He's going to attack Lane Johnson. He's going to test the guy who supposedly needs surgery and shouldn't play, but is only doing it because he's an all-pro and needs to be there for his team. He's going to go out there and he's going to test him. He's going to move guys around. You're going to see Thibodeau probably bounce around and try to rush on that side of the line of scrimmage and get after Lane and see where that groin injury is, where that core injury is, and how close to 100%, how close to even 75% Lane Johnson will be playing in this game. So Wink Martindale, I think, will be aggressive. He's going to attack Lane, and in doing so, he's also going to try to get Jalen Hurts moved off his mark. In doing so, he'll figure out whether or not Jalen Hurts is going to be a scrambling quarterback, whether or not he's going to be a very mobile quarterback, whether he's going to be afraid to run, whether he's going to slide, whether he's going to get out of bounds sooner than he normally would, whether he's going to be gun shy at all going into this game. So that's one of the things I'm going to be watching for. We'll cover more of this tomorrow when we talk to our friend Clay Harbor. And that'll be the first interview in the new house, by the way. So a little tease there. Let me get to a couple more comments here. Sean Gillespie, moving sucks and is expensive. Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No doubt there. Oh, T-Bro. What's up, T-Bro? In the field playing Jurassic Park with Jeff Goldblum impersonating. That's funny you say that, T-Bro. I got to use the Jeff Goldblum line yesterday, as a matter of fact, for what we were talking about. But I got to use the nature finds a way. I got to use that for something. I don't remember what it was. But, yeah, the Jurassic Park. Dan Schwartz. What's up, Dan? What's going on? Domino's Thin Crust is really that good. Oh, Rhea likes it as well? I didn't know that. Thin Crust is, it's fantastic. Oh, PJ News. Dan's got tons of overtime. Hey, man, you got to clean up the city. Somebody's got to do it, brother. I appreciate you. But yes, I do believe that the Thin Crust is just that good. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. I wanted to make sure I gave you guys some fresh update there. Random Anton, Pizza Hut is fine if you have kids. Okay. I mean, they do. I mean, everything is fine, right? To quote my mom, just be happy you have food. Thanks for watching. Fuji, what's up, people to get in here at the last minute? What's up, Fuji? Nice to see you. Good luck in the new house. Appreciate you. Yeah, I got to build a new studio. I got to do all that fun stuff. But yeah, I'll be with you guys tomorrow morning in some capacity once again. Wanted to make sure I don't leave you guys out as I'm going through this horrendous ordeal that we've all been through. So nothing special here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Jim Hyden produced the program, did a wonderful job as per usual. This is a Buzz Sports Entertainment production. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. See ya.
Us right now, courtesy of the great people at Sky Motor Cars. Our friend Nakobe Dean joins the program. Nakobe, how you doing?
How y'all doing? I'm well.
Good. Now, I saw a picture of your teammate, that Smitty fella, and he was all lounged out on a sofa that looked like it could fit like a whole kingdom. How did you take in this last weekend, wild card weekend in the NFL? Are you glued to the TV? Are you just out living your life? How do you take it in?
I had rookie dinner Friday.
Oh! I need to get to that. We'll get to that. Rookie dinner on Friday. Okay. How was the rest of the weekend?
The rest of the weekend was nice. It was nice. It was Mario Goodrich's birthday, so we did something for that. But other than that, just kind of been chill, watching TV, trying to see who we were playing this weekend.
Before we get to the Giants, the rookie dinner is something that people love hearing about. So can you walk me through it? How did this go down? Did you host? Did you have to put your credit card in? The whole thing? What went down?
Yeah, definitely. We went to Steak 48. We had all the inside linebackers come, and we had actually had one outside linebacker come, so I hosted him too. Yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time, though. It was a good time, man. Yeah, I can't complain. Yeah, I feel like it's definitely people who got it worse than me. So.
Okay, all right. Was it still the biggest check you've ever seen in your life?
100%.
What did you go with? What'd you eat?
I ate lamb chops.
Oh, well, very nice. Very nice. All right. So you guys have drawn the Giants, and I was looking over some of your notes through the season, and you played the most offensive snaps against Tennessee Titans, and no big deal. You only held Derrick Henry to 30 yards in that game, which is pretty impressive at 2.7 yards per carry. And then you played 19% of the defensive snaps against the Giants during the blowout 48-22 win. Mm-hmm. Giants now, what's the team feeling? What's the vibe in the locker room when you guys get together, knowing now that you're going to face the Giants?
Well, it's definitely heightened because it's the playoffs. Everything is kind of heightened. Everything is turned up a notch, but it's not too much just because throughout the season we try to keep the intensity going. And of course, it's a divisional opponent that we played twice already. So it's like we kind of know what they're gonna do. We know what we're gonna do. We know it's gonna be different. They're gonna try to switch some things up. Of course, to come back the last two games, but I feel like we gotta lean on the coaching, lean on what we know, and just go out there and execute at a high level.
What have the veterans told you about playing in the playoffs?
I haven't asked.
Wait, are you just like, hey, I'm a national champion of Georgia? Like, I get playoff atmosphere. Like, or how does it go down? What do you anticipate? What everybody says with the game even gets faster?
Yeah. Well, for me, I felt like just growing up and watching football and NFL ball, I feel like anytime you're in professional sports and you get to the playoffs, everybody kind of plays at a different level. Everybody kind of picks up their level of play. And I'm ready for that. I'm ready for everybody to just kind of pick up their play, pick up their intensity, pick up their attention to detail.
You're not at Sky Motor Cars right now, are you? I just heard something zoom by.
Oh, no, it's just outside. I think it's a garbage truck or something.
When it comes to facing Saquon Barkley, can you talk a little bit about the challenges with how talented a running back he is?
Yeah, he definitely a talented running back. You know, he can catch the ball out the backfield. He can make the cuts. He's patient. Trusts his O-line when he run. He's just a playmaker all in all. So we just got to ball him up, continue to do what we do and, tackle and execute at a high level.
Mm-hmm. When you do look at the playoff scenarios that all played out throughout the weekend, are you the type of person that is not moving from your sofa? Are you trying to pick up, even if it's a team like the Giants that you faced two other times, are you looking for little nuances? Are you kind of breaking it down as you're watching it? Or is it more of a rooting interest type thing?
I kind of relax. I kind of just watch it as a fan. Of course, I can't just watch it as a fan. You always pick up on things that you've seen in a game where you know that was going to happen because you study them so much. But I kind of just try to watch it like from a fan standpoint or just from how I regularly watch a game because either way, I'm a rewatch it anyway on the iPad. So it's like then I break it down more. So I just kind of try to relax and enjoy myself and try to get that mental break for this week and just dive into them.
One of the things that keeps coming up is, it's hard to beat a team 3 times in one season. What do you say to that argument?
Well, it's hard to beat a team twice. So, but in this playoff ball, so it's a whole nother season if you ask me. It's a whole nother season when we get to the playoff. You have seen by the other games that just happened. The 3 playoff games that have happened, it's just been crazy. Or the 4, but all of them been close. All of them been nail biters. Seem like it. So it's just a new season. Everybody can, no matter what, anything can happen.
Yeah, that's a great point, that it's playoffs and everything's different when it comes to the playoffs. But when I hear that argument that you've already faced this team twice, my argument is, have you? Because you faced them one time straight up, right? And it was a dominant 48-22 performance. And then the second time, and I don't mean this as offense to anyone that was playing in that game, but let's just say it wasn't the first stringers throughout the vast majority of that game. So it was different, and Jalen was just coming back from the injury, of course, and I don't think he was necessarily anything close to 100%. So really, it was one game that was very different. Giants were resting guys in the second game, and the playoffs, as you said, compound that to a totally different game.
Exactly. Everything, like I said, the playoffs, everything get taken up a notch. Everything is more heightened, but as expected.
Now, have you seen Jalen over the last week plus? Does the arm look like he's good? Does he look like he's trusting the shoulder? How's it looking?
He look great to me. A defensive guy, but it looked good to me.
Mm-hmm. When we last spoke, you had told me that one of the first things the coaches were talking to you about was learning when to pedal and learning when to shuffle. That was one thing they wanted you to work on throughout training camp at that point and the early goings of the season. How is that progression going for you?
Oh, everything has been well. Everything has been well. Just learning both positions and doing anything I got to do for the team to win. Basically, that's the number one stat at the end of the day is for us to win.
Mm-hmm. Now, I know a lot of people are looking at you, 3rd round pick. They wanted you to come in. They wanted you to be a big part of the defense on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. What has the process been like from you for when you got drafted to now in terms of that whole progression?
Yeah, well, of course you want to play. Of course, I feel like I can play at elite level in this league, but just buying in and doing what I got supposed to do on the team. Doing my job, buying into my job and knowing what my job is, So just doing that throughout the season and continue to not only do that, but also become more into myself as like a leader on the special team unit and everything, which I feel like will roll over to whenever my time is ready.
Joining us, courtesy of Sky Motorcars, our friend Nakobe Dean joining the Farzy show today. Nakobe, the other part of this is that the last time we spoke, you hadn't played in front of Philadelphia fans yet. So you played in front of them during the regular season. Now you're getting an opportunity to do so in the postseason. What are you expecting the crowd to be like at Lincoln Financial Field on Saturday night?
Well, I heard at the link in the playoffs was crazy. It was a little step up. It's already crazy. I feel like it was like a little bit more of a step up. So I feel like I'm ready for the fans to come out and be electric, Mm-hmm. and it being the divisional game. I won't be surprised to see a lot of Giants fans in there too. So I feel like it should be a great atmosphere.
We'll do our best to not allow a lot of Giants fans, of course, in South Philadelphia on that night. A couple more things for you here. When you think about coming into the league and coming into Philadelphia, is there anything that kind of you had to step back from for a second and kind of really take it in like this? Hey, look, this isn't Georgia anymore. This is a little bit different here. Was there anything that kind of took you back about a Philadelphia atmosphere?
I feel like the biggest, not so much about football, but the biggest thing, just a different culture out here. The different people, the traffic, being in the city and everything. So it is a little different. As far as I feel like it's been more so stuff off the field than on the field. It's been more of I had to take a step back. I got to see the Statue of Liberty when we was driving up to New York to play. So
okay,
it's very if I ever been.
Oh wow! Well, hold on. The furthest north you'd ever been was the Meadowlands, essentially. I still
technically I still haven't never been to New York because it's kind of in Jersey.
Yes, that's true. Exactly. That's wild, man. That's absolutely wild. A couple of things that Eagles fans, I guess, in trying to be cautious and not overlook anybody, they're looking at the Giants right now as a team that is playing their best football probably of the season. They're at the healthiest they've been in weeks, really, when you look at guys back in their secondary, for instance, just as an example there. How do you guys prepare as a team when the numbers say you're a 7.5-point favorite, you're the number one seed, you're taking on a Giants team that had to rally late in the year in order to make the playoffs? How do you guys make sure that you stay focused for this opponent in the divisional round?
Yeah, we respect every opponent. We don't take anything lightly. And it's not an opponent to look past because we don't know who's next week if we get it next week. So it's like it win and continue. So we putting all our energy and mental energy, physical energy, and emotions into this game. Because it's the next game. So it's the most important.
Mm-hmm. I asked you about Jalen Hurts. Lane Johnson also dealing with an injury. How has he looked through your week of practice last week?
Like I said, them guys on offense all look good to me. Everybody everybody professionals, everybody know what they got to do to get their body ready for this game. So I feel like, for me, I've seen them looking good to me.
Good enough. Jonathan Gannon is interviewing for head coaching positions elsewhere, rumored right now to be the leader in the clubhouse, to be the Texans' next head coach. We'll see where it goes from this point on. What were your takeaways from your first regular season under Jonathan Gannon?
I loved it. I feel like as far as JG, I've learned that, of course, it was a different type of defense than what I played at Georgia. But I've learned that it's different defensive minds out there. I already kind of knew, but I never just kind of experienced a different defensive mind who just thought different than the whole way we thought at Georgia and things like that. So being able to experience that kind of opened my mind up to a whole nother, realm or thinking of football that's from a defensive standpoint.
What is he like behind the scenes? Because we only see the guy at the podium, and then we get little shots of him throughout the game. What is he like behind the scenes?
I feel like he a little bit more intense than where he probably give y'all. He as far as just energy guy. And I'm not saying intense. I don't mean like rah yelling at everybody, but more intense. Like he just energetic and happy about what he do and having fun about being there and practicing and calling plays every day with us.
Mm-hmm. Understood. We've mentioned Georgia more than a couple of times. Back-to-back national champions. Were you down there? Were you just sitting on your sofa? And, congratulations to your school there on winning your second straight.
I actually was able to make it to the game. We got some heavy hearts in Georgia right now. We had 2 people pass a car crash. So rest in peace, Dev and Chandler. But I was there for the game out there in SoFi in LA.
Oh, you were out there for it. Yeah, no, and I was going to bring up, I saw the story, and I'm sorry to see that Chandler LaCroix passed away, who was working with the recruiting staff that passed away. And then actually, Devin Willock, I didn't realize, was from North Jersey. He was from just outside Yonkers, New York, on the Jersey side there, which I didn't know. So definitely condolences to the entire Georgia family, my friend. Nakobe Dean joining the show today. Best of luck against the Giants. Of course, as you know, all of Philadelphia will be rooting for you guys to take care of business against those New York Football Giants. Thanks so much for joining the show again.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, and good luck to you, my friend. Joining us on the Rutherford Orthopedics guest line, courtesy of Sky Motor Cars, Eagles linebacker Nakobe.